Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am Bekah Joe, aka the Makeup Tax Lady. In today's video, I'm showing you 3 separate looks that I put together with my 3 mystery bags. Plus, I have worn all of the nail polishes that I got in my Sydney Grace nail polish mystery bag. So that said, this is kind of a spoiler alert moment right now. If you have ordered or want to be surprised with what's in the Sydney Grace 2024 mystery bags, click away from this video. If you'd like to see my reveal video, I will have that linked in the description box, so you can go check out that before or after this video to see the items that I did get in my mystery bag. Of course, we are playing with all of them in today's video. I will have timestamps in the description box, so feel free to check those out if there's only a particular bag that you're interested in. A couple other items to note. Just because these are the items that came in my mystery bag, they're not guaranteed, they're not necessarily all the same. There may be some consistencies across bags, but there is no promise that the things that I got in my mystery bag are the things that other mystery bags contain as well. Also, you will notice that I am using all of the products from one bag in one look, namely the eyeshadows, all of the eyeshadows from each bag in one look. Please know that I don't always wear that many eyeshadows at a time. So I personally, and in my day-to-day, don't have a problem only using a few of those items and just changing up. Maybe I'm using 3 of the eyeshadows and I use these 3 this day and then a different grouping of 3 another day. I just wanted to demonstrate all of them together for one look in each of the looks with each bag. I also just wanted to shout out real quick that I have officially finished my Sydney Grace Cloud 9 powder. I have used up this entire little tub. Don't worry, I have a backup that I'm about to switch to using, but if you had any question or doubt from my love for the quality of Sydney Grace products, doubt no further. That powder is just Exhibit A. I'm also wearing one of their lip creams on my lips, their eyebrow gel through my brows, and I love to sprinkle in Sydney Grace products throughout my everyday. It's probably a rare day for me, if ever, that I don't have a Sydney Grace product in my makeup look for that day. I think they make fantastic products and I really enjoy playing with everything that I get from the brand. So without any further ado, let me send you off to look number 1. All right, friends, let's get into a look. To start off with, I want to show you that I'm wearing the nail polishes all of the nail polishes that I have from Sydney Grace. Several of these came from the nail polish mystery bag, so let me show you what those are. I do also have to look at the labels. I don't remember the names of each one. So here are all the nail polishes on all of my fingers, plus just this pretty sparkly color that's on my thumbs. So the ones that came in the mystery box are, let's see if I can do this, plus the thumb. So these 5 shades plus a clear gloss came in the nail polish mystery bag. Also know that I just painted these nails, so they don't look perfected by any means, and I'm okay with that. That's just how I do my nail polish. So this pretty deep teal color is High School Crush. Forgive me, this lime greeny shade is the shade Intrigue. The orangey shade is Party Crashers. The thumb, like I said, is this fun glitter shade. It's called Disco Fever. And this makes for a really pretty topper shade too. I don't have a shade under it, but it would be pretty that way. It is pretty that way. I've worn it that way. And on this pinky, we have the shade Surprise Party. And like I said, I have the clear gloss also came in that mystery bag, and it's on top of all of these colors. And in case you were curious, the other shades that I have on my nails that are available for individual sale, we have this really cool, cool toned green shade, which is 4-Leaf Clover. This very fun multi-chrome shade. This is another one that's really pretty with a different color underneath, but I don't have a color underneath at the moment. This is Peachberry Fizz. The shade on my middle finger, you will see this came in light teal mystery bag. And the multi-chrome on this finger is, oh my goodness, this is so pretty. This is the shade Bubble Bath. All right, let's get into the items that came in my light yellow mystery bag. Those items include this beautiful angled eyeshadow brush. I use this all of the time. One of my favorite eye brushes in my collection. cream shadow in the shade Golden Horizon. You know that I love cream shadows, so we're gonna use this on the eyes today. Clear brow gel in the Stronghold, and I have been absolutely loving this. I use it almost every day. Lip cream in the shade Rachel, and there are a lot of single shadows in this magnetic palette, but the 6 kind of here on the side are 5 of these came in the mystery bag. The other one, which is this silver shade, was just included as like a gift with purchase in the box, something like that. Those are the 5 shades that we're also going to use on the eyes today. So let's start with throwing some clear brow gel in my brows. I don't have any product or anything else going on in these brows, but that's just about all the effort I put in most days, is a little bit of clear brow gel and keep on moving. Sydney Grace does have a couple other really nice brow products, brow palette, brow pomade, and I really like those. When I'm reaching to add some color to my brows, those are ones that I reach for. And one of these days I may pick up a brow gel that has a color to it. So this is a fun and interesting and challenging, if I may say, collection of eyeshadow shades to wear together. I'm okay with that. I don't mind that challenge. I'm gonna start with picking up this yellow shade here, which is Geese Allaying, and I'm gonna use this through my crease. Before laying that shade down, I did have some About Face eyeshadow primer on. I don't think that it's like terribly impactful to the longevity of Sydney Grace shadows. I find that they last really well all day long on me with or without primer, but it's just a habit at this point to put on eyeshadow primer. Now I want to use this angled eyeshadow brush E05 and go into this peachy shade, which is called Picnic Basket. I'm gonna add this shade to the outer corner of my eyes. So I just shook up the shade Golden Horizon, this cream shadow, a little bit, just to make sure everything is well mixed. And I picked up probably far too much of that cream shadow on the back of my hand. Now I'm going in with a little brush. Hopefully you can see some of the gold sparkles that are in this shade. Oh yeah, such a pretty shade. So I'm picking some of that up with this flat brush, and I'm gonna bring it over the majority of my lid, but leave maybe a little bit of space here for the other shimmer. Hopefully you can see some of the gold sparkles in that shade. Very pretty, and I don't have any other cream shadows quite like it in my collection. Now going in with my finger in this really pretty pinky peachy shade, which is called State Fair. I'm going to put this in the space between where I put the cream shadow and where I have the matte. Just wiped my finger off, and now I'm going through the edges of where I laid that shade down just to make sure it blends in with the other shadows on my lid. Taking a large fluffy brush, I'm just going around the outside edges of where I have everything on the tops of my lids, just to soften it all. I do this with just about every eye look. If it looks like my under eyes are watering a bit, it's just because they are. But next, I want to go in with this really pretty green matte shade. This is the shade Beach Ball, and so I'm going to run this under my lower lash line. That shade is such a fun tone. Now I'm gonna go into this green shade, which is Flip Flops, and use this probably on the center of my lower lash line. I think that's how I wanna do it. Very cool. I really like that shade. So I pretty much just centered it on the lower lash line and then blended it a little bit on both sides too. All right, I am back with the final look. I added some Smashbox Superfan mascara and then added this beautiful lip cream in the shade Rachel to my lips. I think that the color combination pairs really well together. And there you have it. That was using everything in my light yellow mystery bag. All right, let's do a look with the items that came in my light teal mystery bag. Here in my little palette, I have these 5 shades that came from the light teal mystery bag. We will get to these 5 next that will have the light pink mystery bag single shadows. And then this was a free floating single shadow that came in one of my purchases. So it's just kind of sitting in this palette, but it's not included with either of my mystery bags. Let me give you all the shade names real quick. This is Sand Harbor, White Sand Beach, Glistening Streams, Spring Showers, and Sandstorm. I'm going to take this Sydney Grace fluffy brush into White Sand Beach and run that through my crease. That would be such a pretty one and done shade. That's a beautiful neutral taupe shade. Now I want to take this angled fluffy-ish brush and dip into Sandstorm, the deepest brown here, and put that in the outer corner. Those are blending out beautifully like the Sydney Grace matte formula that we know and love. I'm gonna take this Give Me Glow brush. It's kind of like flat on either side and still a little bit fluffy. And I'm gonna go into Spring Showers and put that all over the lid. Do you see the pigmentation on that blue matte? That is beautiful. I have wiped all of the blue off that brush. I'm gonna go back in with that first brown shade and just go over the edges of where we laid down the blue just to make sure everything is well blended. Now I want to go in with Sand Harbor, this beautiful tan metallic shade. It's got a little bit of sparkle in it. Yeah, hopefully you can see the sparkle in that. It's very reminiscent of a seashore, and I think it's really cool. So I'm going to put this where the blue matte and the brown mattes meet. So fun. Now I'm going to take Glistening Stream and put this over the rest of my lid. Yes, we're basically covering up that matte, but the colors go really well together, and it's just kind of how I wanted to wear them today. Okay, I am back with my mascara on. I also took the two brown shades and put those under my lashes. When I look at this color story, I could very easily think to put the browns on the lid and the blues under the eye, or vice versa, right? Put the blues on the lid and the browns under the eye. So I wanted to not take that route today. I wanted to challenge myself just a little bit. So that's why I went in with the blue matte and the blue shimmer on the lid. I really like the way that it turned out. I think it's a very fun twist on a neutral look. Very pretty and very flattering, but I'm ready to add some blush. Also in my light teal mystery bag came a powder blush and powder highlighter. This entire palette is Sydney Grace, aside from this smaller pan here, is Sydney Grace single blushes and highlighters, and this is a Sydney Grace single bronzer. They came in a previous year mystery bag, I believe. But the ones that came with my light teal mystery bag this year include this beautiful blush shade called Peach Flame and this highlighter called Radiant Morning. I think that this highlighter, and when I swatched it, I thought it may be just a little bit too deep on me, so we'll use a very light hand today and see how that goes. Dipping into Peach Flame with this Rephr brush, and this is a slightly shimmery blush. It has just a little bit of glow to it, but it's not like a chunky shimmer by any means. I am a huge fan, if you can't tell. That's one palette. I have another palette the same size full of more Sydney Grace blushes and highlighters. I'm a big fan of their powder face products, and I think that's a beautiful little blush. Going in with this Real Techniques highlighter brush into the highlighter shade Radiant Morning. Using this brush because it's a little bit fluffier, and I think it'll give us a softer glow to the cheeks. Oh, that's very nice. Sydney Grace's highlighter formula is, I guess, kind of similar to their metallic, like their pressed powder single eyeshadows or eyeshadow formula, that they provide this nice sheen. You can build them up to be more metallic, or you can leave them kind of more like I am today as just more of a subtle glow. Let's try building it up just a little bit more, just for funsies. Oh yeah, you definitely can build that up more. That's very pretty. Also in my light teal mystery bag came this beautiful lip cream. This is the shade Mary. I have used this lip cream so much more than I thought when I originally opened this in my mystery bag, but I have been really enjoying this shade. It's a very pretty shade. So let me throw some on my lips. And there we have it, lip cream in the shade Mary, added to this fun Sydney Grace look today. And the last item from my light teal mystery bag was nail polish. This is the shade Peach Sweet Tea. It is the shade that I have, once I remember, on this finger here. And it's another very pretty light peachy shade, and I think it goes really well with the color scheme of everything else in the bag. All right, so here was this look. I'll send you on to the last one. Hello friends, let's get into the products that came in my light pink Sydney Grace mystery bag from summer 2024. To start off with, we got some eyeshadows, some single eyeshadows in this bundle. These 5 came in the light pink mystery bag, so the shades are Prairie Smoke, Plumosis, Rosado, Azalea Bloom, and Royal Fern. So let's use these as our eyeshadow for today. I want to start with the shade Rosado on a fluffy brush. I'm going in with a fluffy brush from Sydney Grace. Ooh, too much pigment. That is okay, we will blend it out. It is a beautiful color. And look at how beautifully and creamy that just blended out on the eyes. Sydney Grace has such a beautiful matte formula. Their shimmer formula is beautiful too. It has not been the type of shimmer that I've been reaching for lately, but beautiful nonetheless. Next, I want to use this Sierra Martin angled eyeshadow brush and dip into Royal Fern. And we will put this on the outer corner of the eye. Now with this Sydney Grace kind of shader brush, I'm going to dip into Prairie Smoke, add this to the lower lash line. And I'm bringing this like 2/3 of the way over. I don't want it over the entire lower lash line. I'm taking just a little bit more of that shade and connecting it to the top lash line here. That shade is deep. It's very pretty. My eyes were not watery until just now. This eye is ever so slightly watery. I think it's just the season. I don't think I can get away from it right now. So we will just continue to live our lives. Little watery eyes never hurt anybody. With that same brush, I just like wiped it off. I'm gonna go into Azalea Bloom and use that over kind of the other 2/3 of the lower lash line. So it'll start towards the front and then end 2/3 over. Okay, now for the last shade, I'm gonna dip into Plumosis, which is this really pretty metallic pressed pigment shade. And I'm going to put this on my lids. Now for blush, the light pink mystery bag also came with 2 cream cheek products. So we have cream blush in the shade Pink Hydrangea and cream highlighter in the shade Morning Dew. I want to go ahead and put some pink hydrangea on my cheeks. I have several of Sydney Grace cream blushes, as well as a couple of their cream bronzers and a few of their cream highlighters. I really like the formula for all of them. These are the only ones that I have that are not like a glass jar with a lid. These are, you know, open containers, if you will, but I believe they're the same formula. As far as I can tell, they're the same formula. No scent. They don't necessarily have glitter or anything, just a little bit of a sheen to them. They are beautiful on the skin. They have a nice, almost satiny finish to them, and not, again, not as in like a shimmery way, just as in like they just have a natural glow to them on the skin, but they're very pretty. They have a nice selection of shades available on their website. Okay, now with the highlighter in Morning Dew, I'm going to change it up just a little bit from what you might expect. And I'm going to take Morning Dew and put it on the inner corner of my eyes. I'm going to just use my pinky, and if I need to, I'll grab a brush, but I'm sure my pinky will work. Oh, that's very pretty. That added just a little splash of brightness to this smokier eye look. And just taking a splash under my brows, which I do not normally do, but it's a very like skin tone shade of highlighter for me. So it's very natural and I like it. Now for cheek highlighter, this mystery bag came with 2 highlighters. So we used the cream highlighter on the eyes. Now I want to use this loose highlighter in the shade Arctic Moon on my cheeks. Here is the inside of the cap and the inside of the component. It looks deeper in here than it is in real life, I can tell you that much. But it is kind of like a cool toned lavender-ish type of shade. So I'm taking just a splash of this on my brush and I'm gonna apply some to my cheek. Oh, that's very pretty. Now I'm just kind of like trying to melt it into my skin just a little bit so I don't have any additional product. Just very small circular motions and blending it into my skin. That is such a pretty highlighter. Now the last item that came in my light pink mystery bag is this atomizer, which is a 10 milliliter size of Sydney Grace's fragrances. So this is in the scent Eternal, and I am not a fragrance guru. So I have over here what Sydney Grace describes the notes of this fragrance as. Those would be amber, vanilla, patchouli, musk, and sandalwood. And with my not fragrance knowing self, that sounds exactly right. I know for myself that I like the days that I do wear a fragrance, I like a softer scent, a little on the sweet side, but I don't need it to be too sweet. I know that a lot of like luxury makeup brands put their fragrance into their makeup products and then they sell them also separately, but that fragrance smell, I don't like. I am not a fan of it all. And I have 2 fragrances from Sydney Grace, this one in Eternal and also Moonlit Meadow. And I really like both of those. Just as a frame of reference, if you are a fragrance person, that's kind of this type of scents that I do enjoy. I also really like this component. We've got a really pretty Sydney Grace rose gold imprint on the bottle, and then it twists up, and then we've got our sprayer. So it works really well for travel. And again, because it's the 10 ml, the smaller size, there's a greater chance that I'll use it up. No promises, but I do like this scent and I am glad that it was in my mystery bag. Thank you so much for joining me on this little Sydney Grace mystery bag looks journey. I had a lot of fun playing with all these little pieces, and I've played with them, of course, off my channel, just in my daily life. I think that everything performs beautifully, and I'm happy to have these fun products in my collection. If you liked this video, I'd ask that you give it a like. If you have any thoughts or comments, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'd love to continue the conversation with you down there. I will include in the description box my Sydney Grace playlist and a non-affiliated link to the Sydney Grace website if you are curious to check out these mystery bags or anything else that they have on their site. Again, thank you so much for joining me for today's video, and I hope to see you in the next one.